Vanessa Akhtar, and Gaurav Gupta. In this call to action, John Kotter and his co-authors Vanessa Akhtar and Gaurav Gupta argued that the rapid, constant pace of change means ending the current era in business and society and beginning anew. Today's VUCA world, an acronym for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, brings new catastrophes daily. The authors point out that measures like the World Uncertainty Index have risen sharply over the past few decades, that the 2020 pandemic represents just another in a series of massive disruptions over the past century or so, and that these events will only accelerate. Thus, in their view, millions of people across society must lead changes to save civilization. Takeaway 1. Change pervades global business and society, but few firms or nations adapt quickly enough. From 1960 to 2020, the number of U.S. patents quintupled. The iPhone passed 50 million users in its first 3 months. Firms that made it to the S&P 500 index once stayed on it for an average of 30 years. Today, they last about 17 years. The pace of change now proves so fast that the current era of business and government may well have reached an end. The scale of change and disruption in the economy and throughout industry is driving leaders to make dramatic internal changes to keep pace. However, human nature and the design of most organizations resist change and reduce its trajectory, leaving the rate and scale of change in most organizations and governments insufficient. Leadership must come from more people and at all levels of organization and society. When change does not occur fast enough or deeply enough, organizations aren't the only ones to suffer. Globally, pandemics, climate change, and other dangers threaten future generations. Slow, good enough organizational change is no longer enough. Small, incremental alterations can't drive strategic shifts that keep pace with external change. The challenges business, governments, and society face demand agility, adaptation, and speed. Takeaway 2. Neurological discoveries suggest how to make people more open to change. The survival-based fight-or-flight instinct helped save humankind from extinction, and it remains a powerful force. That means you need discipline to prevent yourself from reacting and responding inappropriately to business threats. Danger comes from all corners: deadlines, quotas, angry bosses or unhappy customers, the onslaught of social media, email and texts, and pervasive bad news. When you live in survival mode, you feel constant stress and worry. This harms your health and keeps you from attaining thrive mode, the locus of optimism, innovation, creativity, and responsiveness to change. People need to turn down their survive channel and turn up their thrive channel. In thrive mode, your brain releases chemicals like oxytocin and vasopressin that sustainably spike your energy over the long term. This helps you to see opportunities rather than threats. When enough people in an organization move more toward thrive, while maintaining enough attention to survive, change can occur at the pace firms need. Unfortunately, modern organizations have not changed enough and still draw on mechanized, highly structured management styles and hierarchies. The current way of doing business may seem progressive, but it has its roots in solutions from the early 1900s. Leaders must change organizational structures to allow agility and adaptation to emerge, winning converts through optimism and passion, not fear and threats. To spread change, maintain momentum, stress accountability, celebrate wins, and champion it at all levels. To encourage people to drive change and spread enthusiasm, add emotional appeals to rational reasons, emphasize broad-based leadership, and be inclusive. Takeaway 3. Organizations need a dual system where the survive mindset and organizational structure coexist with a thrive mindset and fluidity. Don't throw out the survive mindset entirely or try to demolish structure, hierarchies, or other controls necessary for execution and customer satisfaction. Change happens best when firms operate a dual system in which structure, standards, and rules, the survive mindset, exist in harmony with creativity and innovation, the thrive mindset. Fluidity means driving strategic change through distributed leadership and broad input, not through top-down decision-making and distributed management. A few people sitting at the top of an organization can't make decisions at the necessary speed. People close to the work must lead and make decisions, applying their knowledge, experiences, emotions, and data. Repeatable processes for scaling business don't work for rapid change. Committees of senior leaders can no longer create and execute strategy monolithically. Success depends on linking change to a compelling shared mission and alighting the Thrive channel among workers. Hard-charging CEOs become less important than competent senior leaders who deliver the message of change and rally the workforce so that they want to effect change. Takeaway 4. Organizations struggle to adapt to digital transformation. Many digital transformations fail because leaders start with no clear notion of what they hope to achieve, or rely on technology and data to carry out the transformation rather than handing it over to their people. Digital transformation incorporates the entire business, not only add-ons, and requires collecting enormous amounts of data and applying it to make better decisions. The pursuit of data collection and analysis, though vital, often triggers the survival instinct because few people know how to interpret data or how to place it in the right context. An onslaught of data and reporting can bring a barrage of information that seems threatening. Instead, build a broad base of data fluency across your organization, thus generating support for digital transformation. A better, deeper understanding of digitization and data helps tip the balance toward Thrive. Takeaway 5. Big change occurs when firms restructure, often triggering resistance. When needed, restructuring represents positive change. However, the word itself can trigger your employees' survive mindset. When this happens, they will first try to save themselves. At the very moment the organization needs all the positive energy and innovation it can muster, people shut down, grow defensive, and spread rumors. Restructuring should not rest on top-down decisions executed by invisible armies of consultants. Communicate an inspiring case for change that includes the benefits for everyone and supports those who may have to face changes in their job or even leave the company. Emphasize transparency and honesty. Encourage teams to participate in and define the restructuring. Takeaway 6. Strong corporate cultures thrive when everyone in the organization agrees with the company's direction and goals. Culture shifts require difficult change. Even in strong cultures, links to tangible performance outcomes often prove weak. Strong cultures can still be toxic. Uber's take no prisoners culture, for example, permitted incredible growth, but its abusive practices eventually caught up with it. Strong cultures that genuinely care for stakeholders drive better results. When the workforce and stakeholders align, and the firm takes care of stakeholders' interests and empowers them to protect those interests, a strong and adaptive culture emerges, driving measurably improved performance. To build this culture, the CEO or equivalent must make it his or her primary mission, a crusade. A core group must act, setting the example. When this group gets results that the rest of the workforce understands, more people will move toward a Thrive mindset. Gradually, the new culture can grow from this kernel and flourish if leaders reinforce it through recognition, rewards, training, and compensation. Culture change takes persistent effort. A committed leader puts it in motion. A committed group of influencers achieves victories that you celebrate and reward. That core grows into a diverse, larger group that drives lasting cultural change. To build momentum, keep celebrating and broadcasting progress. Takeaway 7. When firms acquire or merge with other firms, change takes center stage. If done well, mergers and acquisitions, or M&A, can help firms keep pace with the speed of change and disruption. Unfortunately, a large percentage of these efforts fail to achieve their objectives because M&A, with its accompanying change, including the threat of job loss, triggers the survive channel. Firms and M&A consultants often pay lip service to the need for cultural integration, when they should determine where integration matters most and make it happen to ensure a successful M&A. Takeaway 8. Agile strategies encourage teams to work with clients to iterate better solutions. Traditional organizations rarely implement Agile in anything other than name. Agile tends to succeed in startups until the need for structure and control arises, and then grows and takes over. Before that happens, a dual system exists. Thrive continues alongside Survive. Innovation and speed coexist with structure and reliability. The dual system does not mean physically separating creative and innovative teams from the rest of the firm. True agility requires having people contribute to both systems. Most employees operate on a continuum of control and creativity. Firms that recognize this continuum tap their people's full range, trusting them to create and innovate when appropriate, but to hunker down, pay attention to detail, and deliver when required. This delicate balance, preventing the survive mode from stifling creativity and preventing thrive from creating chaos by eliminating survive, fuels contemporary success. Takeaway 9. The benefits of balancing thrive and survive extend to the broader society. Societies and nations rely on a complex web of interdependencies that require structure and reliability. External pressures demand adaptability and change. Rising to the challenge of climate change, for example, will require millions of people working in concert to activate change on a global scale, while keeping the machinery of the system operating. As in organizations, their successes will cause others to join in, activating thrive in more and more people. At the societal level, the stakes and the degree of difficulty are much higher. A constant stream of messages, whether about climate change, crime, disease, or other calamities, sparks the survive system at a time when mass innovation, agility, and inspiration for change matters most. To overcome humanity's challenges, leaders must activate the thrive mindset in hundreds, and then hundreds of thousands, and then millions of people. All the while, structure and controls must continue to function in a dual system. In 1976, the world's nations reached a global agreement to eliminate the chlorofluorocarbons depleting Earth's ozone layer. It stands as the most shining example, perhaps the only one, of the dual system at scale. A broad, diverse movement of scientists, activists, governments, and other stakeholders combined creativity, speed, and agility with rules, structure, and controls to save the atmosphere. Societal change requires more people and more leaders who operate with sufficient survival radar to also activate thrive. Such leaders, who must emerge at all levels, will inspire people to adopt a better vision for the future. Solo charismatic leaders can't solve today's challenges no matter how talented. Contemporary CEOs, presidents, and prime ministers should create the conditions for the mass emergence of other leaders up and down organizations and throughout society, allowing change to spread while keeping the structure necessary for it to take root and endure.